Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on The Flash. Now, The Flash Season 6 has recently ended, and although I've reviewed every single episode of The Flash Season 6, one thing I haven't done is giving you guys my overall opinion on The Flash Season 6. So it only makes sense that I do a full season review for The Flash Season 6. And I'll give you guys my overall opinion on the entire season, just like what I did for my Arrow one and my Supergirl one, which will be coming soon. Now, before I do this full season review, however, you guys don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. Okay, so I'm gonna start off from the very beginning. So The Flash literally came out of its worst season, that being season 5, and it just needed some changes. So when it was announced that Todd Helbing was fired and Eric Wallace was hired as the new showrunner, I was very happy because Todd Helbing is gone, so we don't have more ruined seasons. But I wasn't sure about what Eric Wallace would do to the overall season. But once I heard about Wallace's vision about the whole season, I was very intrigued and I was just very excited to see what he'd bring to the show. And I just saw his talent over there. He seemed like a showrunner that doesn't just do it for the money, but he just does it because he cares, genuinely cares as well, which is just great. So Wallace changed the structure of the season to a Part A and Part B season, whereas essentially, as he referred to, two graphic novels in one season, which was very interesting and it was just different as well, which was why I was for it. So The Flash Season 6 started off very powerful with a very entertaining and amazing premiere. Such an amazing costume, the best Flash costume we've ever had so far. We also had the West Allen family dealing with the loss of their daughter Nora as well. And then we do get more Team Flash distractions as we go on, with the reveal that Barry is going to die in Crisis on Infinite Earth, which is now moved 5 years before. So The Flash Season 6 Part A is pretty much a Crisis setup in which we see how Barry changes and develops as the impending crisis is nearing, and we do see that change massively throughout the season. We have Chester P. Runk introduced as a new character, and he was very underused in my opinion, but that does make sense, at least for the first half, due to the crisis setup. But I believe that he could have been worked well into Part B, but maybe in Season 7, who knows. Now, we also had the new Harrison Wells being introduced, and he travels the multiverse for Artifact and to obviously kill Mar Novu as well, and his setup to becoming Pariah and stuff was really well done, and him releasing the Anti-Monitor and stuff like that. But one of the biggest improvements by far was the character of Iris West, as we finally got them focusing on her journalism arc, which was great. And it was last covered, I believe, in Season 2, so it's been such a long time, and I'm just glad that they brought it back. Allegra Garcia was another new addition to the show, and she essentially is the cousin of Ultraviolet, and she is released from prison and she joins Team Citizen, which was a good place for her because we know how many people are in Team Flash. So if they reduced it so she's only part of Team Citizen, it would allow her to have more screen time in certain times in the episodes. And we do see Barry's shock when he finds out that the crisis is now 5 years earlier. So the fact that he has to accept the fact that he's gonna die a lot earlier is just troubling him. And one thing I really liked for Season 6 Part A are the character-focused episodes, because we know Barry needs to prepare the team for the crisis that's to come. And I just liked how they included character-focused episodes for Season 6 to show how those specific characters will be dealing. So we had the Cisco Alone episode, we had the License to Elongate episode, and we had that Killer Frost episode, and they were great episodes as well. However, in my opinion, the best part of The Flash Season 6 Part A is by far Bloodwork. Senthil Ramamurthy playing Ramsey Rosso, aka Bloodwork, was awesome. Now, he was the main villain for the first half of the season and is by far the best non speedster villain we've had on the show. Ramsey obviously has HLH cancer and he wants to stop himself from getting, well, he's about to get it and he wants to stop himself from dying from it. So he goes into like experiments with like bloods and stuff, which results to him going insane, and that's how he becomes Bloodwork. And his rivalry with the Flash was just awesome, and he just added this like real dark tone, which worked with that crisis build up as well. Now, The Flash Season 6 Part A had some of the best episodes of the show ever, and we had that two-part negative Flash episode, which was probably one of the best episodes of the season. Well, the best episode of the season. Also, like one of Grant Gustin's masterpieces as well, where Barry finds out that he'd survive if he took Bloodwork's blood, but also he becomes like negative Flash to also defeat Bloodwork, and the last fight scene between the two was just great, especially with Bloodwork in his like full-on Bloodwork form. And then we had Crisis Part 3, which was the Flash's part, so that's the only thing I'll be talking about. But essentially the heroes are gathered and stuff, and they need to stop the antimatter waves from hitting other Earths. This was the Flash focused episode, so we had like Team Flash going into the Anti-Monitor basement, and they encounter Black Lightning and Earth 90 Flash as well. So they all team up and try to stop the antimatter wave, in which Barry then notices that this is where he's supposed to vanish in Crisis. So we had like emotional goodbyes between Barry, Caitlin, and Cisco, but we had Earth 90 Flash sacrificing himself to save the multiverse, which was great. But that was pretty much useless since the multiverse got destroyed, which was just such a crazy ending. So in terms of Season 6 Part 8, it was very, very solid, and Eric Wallace did a very good job. So overall for Season 6 Part 8, I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10. Now, Season 6 Part B is where more problems rose, which I believe brought the season a bit down. Now, that is obviously due to the pandemic, which resulted the season to being cut short, so they weren't able to film most episodes, like episode 21 and 22, but they didn't release episode 20 because that was a filler, and episode 19 served as a better finale than 20. So, like, I'm not gonna talk all negative because of those reasons, because like they couldn't have known that this was going to happen. Not everything was wrapped up, obviously, due to what happened. So Barry at post-crisis, which is basically Season 6 Part B, pretty much suffered the most distractions and has suffered the most impact out of the other characters. So at first he is obviously devastated due to the death of Oliver Queen, since he just saved the multiverse, and Barry witnessed him die firsthand, and they were really, really close friends as well. So Barry essentially gets like Oliver's mask as like a memorial type thing, but also he believes that he has a last mission to serve for Oliver due to those Mirakuru marks on the mask. So Barry and Diggle head to Lian, but nothing is there, so Barry is pretty frustrated about that. But we kick off with a really good Team Citizen and Iris arc as they track down Blackhole mercenaries, and we do encounter the first one, that being Dr. Light 2.0, and then we encounter other ones like Sunshine Sunshine as well. And then later on we do encounter Ragdoll, who has improved massively as well. Now Team Citizen are essentially trying to track down Blackhole and take down Joseph Carver, but this Iris arc gets completely destroyed as she gets sucked into the Mirrorverse. Now the Mirror Iris story has been driven for way too long, and I just found it so off that neither Barry or Joe couldn't notice that there was something up with Iris. Come on, one day she learns how to cook, all of a sudden she learns how to smash a beer bottle on someone's head and speaks another language, and they didn't even notice until 7 weeks in, which I really wasn't a fan of. But as Grant Gustin said, this could have been the reasons because of that could have been the distractions with Barry losing his speed, Oliver's death, and the return of Thawne. But like that's not really a good excuse in the same time as like this is his wife, like he should have known. And same for Joe, like that's your daughter, like how don't you know that there's something up? And then when like Wally returns, he just noticed like straight up that there's something wrong with her. So that's something that I wasn't really a fan of. Now we had an arc in which Barry discovers like a few crisis changes, and that was a really strong episode. I really liked that episode. Sue Dearborn was the new character for this season 6 part B, and she's trying to take down Carver and Blackhole, and we do see her like tag along with Ralph, as Ralph is obviously investigating her missing mystery. And we do see their like chemistry build up, which they just have like the best chemistry. And I am interested to see if she will join Team Flash next. And obviously with the things that ended with Sue Dearborn, Eva just framed her. So I am very interested to see how they're gonna resolve all of that. But obviously the most impactful thing from season 6 part B was the death of the Speed Force, which is by far one of the best episodes of the show and the second best or third best episode this season. Now this heavily impacted our favorite speedsters as well, as they're losing their speed, and due to those threats, Barry like faces in like a weekly basis, he's forced to create himself an artificial Speed Force. So this is what Team Flash have been working on as well throughout the weeks and episodes. And we did also see Barry struggles without his speed as well. Now Kid Flash's return was so good. Eric Wallace easily created like the best version of Wally we had so far, with new abilities and just a great characteristic that I believe suits him very well. And after Crisis, we also had this mystery between Nash being like hallucinating these different Welleses across the multiverse, and we find out that these Welleses are actually like part of his mind, and like they're like connected to each other, and he can interact with them whenever. The Reverse Flash return tied into all of this, as he's trying to find a new host for a body. That was left as a mystery due to the Thawne cliffhanger being moved to season 7, but I cannot wait to see how that will be explored. Now, one awkward thing that I found was that we didn't find out who the main villain was until like 75% into the season. Now, we thought that Blackhole was the main villain due to the villainous stuff that they've caused, but Eric Wallace actually did this on purpose, where he tried to trick us into thinking that the main villains were Blackhole, but then revealing it to be Eva instead. Now what Wallace tried to do over here was to like make a main villain where she had no beef with the Flash. Now we only saw the setup of this, so I cannot comment much on that due to the season being cut short. But like a villain without having like any beef with the Flash, like does that even work? I'm interested to see how it will work, but like, I don't think it's gonna go that well. But we should take into account that Eva's only going to be the main villain for like 3 more episodes in season 7, and like that's it. And then we had Barry noticing the problems with Mirror Iris, and that was just great. I'm just like, oh, thank God. And we did also have like a sick fight scene between the two as well. That episode was one of the strongest episodes of the season as well. Now, Eva McCulloch, aka Mirror Master, was the main villain for this part, and she was very interesting in my opinion. Her arc at first was a bit long and boring, but once she got out of the Mirrorverse, she got more badass and more interesting, and her powers were just great. Godspeed's return was great, and the infinite velocity stuff and the one who sent him all remains a mystery, which I can't wait till they explore in season 7. And they did have a couple of plot holes as well, but that doesn't really matter. We had a finale which wasn't actually the finale as well, which was a bit disappointing, as I said, but it wasn't their fault. Now they did wrap up Carver, and they did wrap the departure of Caitlin as well due to Danielle Panabaker's pregnancy at that time, but the other stuff still remained unfinished. We just saw the setup to the rivalry between Eva and Barry, and the Blackhole mercenaries are now working with Eva, and I just can't wait to see like what Wallace has planned for season 7. Now, season 6 part B was worse than season 6 part A, but it is unfinished, so as I said, I couldn't fully judge. But I was pretty happy with part B as well. And for part B, I will give it an 8 out of 10. Overall, season 6 part B has more consistent and more better episodes. However, due to it being unfinished, I would say season 6 part A is better. And overall for The Flash season 6, I'd give an 8.9 out of 10. And yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video.